everybody. I'm Bree the Plant Lady. This is Sophia Petrillo, also known as the Golden Panther. I'm going to try and make the most of this Saturday, even though we're in the midst of this public health scare. Decided that I'm going to grind some of my homegrown wheat that I've kept frozen since last spring. I'm going to make it into bread so that I can share it with neighbors. Everything you need to know about this process can be found in my book, Gardening with Grains. So stay tuned for my process. Stay healthy, stay safe. So I'm all set up here in my dining room to grind some of the wheat that we grew, we threshed, we winnowed last spring, and then I've kept it frozen so that it wouldn't spoil. So I have a big bowl of Kamut wheat. This was actually grown on a side property border last year. And what I'm going to do is follow the instructions for my beginner's yeast bread from Gardening with Grains. And I need to have 6 cups of flour. And in this recipe, I was still splitting my homegrown wheat with store-bought wheat, but I'm no longer doing that. This is going to be bread that's all homegrown wheat. The nice thing about having the Wonder Mill is that I can grind flour that's a little more like what you would buy at the store, minus the fact that it's not bleached. So this is going to be whole grain, which means there's better nutrient density in it. The Winnow mill has 3 settings. It is a pastry, a bread, and a coarse flour setting. So because I'm making bread, we're going to grind it on the bread setting. And it will process a cup of raw wheat seed in about 25 seconds. So this is like a game changer as far as efficiently grinding flour so that you could get in the habit of using your own homegrown wheat seeds on a regular basis. So I highly recommend investing in a Wonder Mill if this is something that you would be interested in doing long term. All right, so I'm going to follow the instructions. Using the Wonder Mill, there's one main thing, and they have it written on the device several times. Turn on before filling. This is really loud. It sounds like a shop vac, and so you want to have it up and running before you put the seed in, and then it will very quickly process it. I have to grind 6 cups, so that should take me, about 2 minutes, and then get started on actually making the bread. Alright, so now the big reveal. Oh, it's beautiful. Check that out. That is whole-grown Kamut wheat ready to be baked into bread. Never felt greater satisfaction from something that I grow in the middle of my front lawn. Most important thing right now is to keep washing your hands, and I wash my hands all the time anyway, but now I am especially careful. So between every step I am washing my hands because I do have the genuine intention of sharing this with people, and I don't want to potentially spread any germs. Safety first. So the first step is to mix together the yeast, sugar, salt, and warm water. And this is really easy. It's just a tablespoon of salt, just like that. It's a tablespoon of sugar. I don't use a lot of sugar in general, so hopefully I won't run out of sugar through this health scare. And then 1 tablespoon of active dry yeast. And just like that. Okay. And then 2 cups of warm water, not over 110 degrees. I'm neurotic about water, I always have been, so I'm actually using reverse osmosis water, and I'm going to heat this up very quickly in the microwave. So the salt, sugar, yeast, and water are mixed together, and you just want this to sit together so that the yeast can dissolve into the warm water. I heated that 2 cups of water for 40 seconds in the microwave. Next step is to start adding 1 cup of flour at a time. I'm using my KitchenAid. You can actually do this by hand. And you want to add the flour kind of slowly so that it incorporates efficiently. From the 6 cups of whole wheat seed that I ground, I still have a fair amount of ground flour left, like a little more than a cup. So that's going to be what I use to flour my surface. And I'm going to start on this one board. Baking bread is messy, so, you know, just accept that. So now the process is to knead the bread. And when I first started making bread, I didn't do a very good job of it. And the kneading process really just ensures that your bread will be light and fluffy and that there'll be like air in it. So you have to do this properly. And I am not a bread baking expert by any means, but I do have a genuine interest in being more self-sufficient, specifically through a crop that I can grow in my sunny front yard. So I am gonna keep trying my best to be better at this. You know, I feel like some of these skills have been lost in our modern era, and well, that might not be the best thing long term, you know? So kneading is kind of like you're just like bending it over itself and then pressing it down and making it so that there's air incorporated in. And so, you know, once you do this for a few minutes, you're gonna let it sit for a while, and then ultimately you're gonna put this in a mixing bowl. I use this mixing bowl. You're gonna lightly grease that, and you're gonna let it rise for a few hours. So then you can just sort of get back out into the garden and do something else. So I'll revisit this later this afternoon with the goal of having bread ready to share with neighbors for dinner tonight. So the bread is ready to rise. It's going to sit here under this damp towel for the next 2 hours. All right, I've had a really fun 2 hours of letting this bread rise. It's risen significantly. Try and get it out of here. And there it is. So now I'm at the stage where I'm going to actually cut it in half, and then I'm going to form 2 different loaves, and then it'll get ready to go into the oven and start to bake. So, I'm so excited. This is probably going to be denser than what I would normally like buy from the grocery store, because like I said, this is 100% homegrown, home ground wheat. So it's not been bleached, it's not white flour at all. This is like whole grain flour. So really excited to share this with my neighbors. It's a beautiful day. Everybody's outside because we're all afraid of the coronavirus, and I think that this is a really cool way to connect with the people that live around me. Cutting it in half. And actually, I think I'm gonna make even smaller loaves. I'm gonna cut these halves into quarters. And that way we can share it with 4 people and it's not so much bread. Because, you know, people are still like a little bit anti-carb. Even though this is healthy carbs. This is healthy, it's organic. It's front yard wheat. It's amazing. So we're gonna put these into 4 little balls. And then I'm going to put these on a silicone mat, and then they're going to go into the oven to bake. And yeah, I think this is going to really, who knows, I'm going to become a bread making expert by the end of the coronavirus, because I'm not going to have anything else to do. I literally have nowhere to go. All of my events are canceled. I have nothing to do but be at home. And lucky for me, I have like 80 pounds of wheat seed to make bread from. So.
Can I help?
Did you wash your paws? Yes, you can.
I don't have paws.
You have paws. You're just human paws. So yeah, you want to make that into a nice round ball? There you go. That's perfect.
Or you could just get some on the stove.
That's right. You can get some flour on it. That's okay. That'll just make it not stick. Perfect.
Get some on every side.